everyone, I'm Caitlin Choquette, host of the Downtown Windsor Farmers Market's Chef's Table. I'm standing outside the primary social with an incredibly talented chef, Sergio Zevallos. He's going to tell us a little bit about this place and the kitchen inside.
Thank you for the introduction. So we are in the heart of downtown Windsor. Primary Social started as a nightclub late last year. But now it has transformed into a fully licensed bar and restaurant facility. We are blessed to have the opportunity to take over the kitchen. The kitchen itself is actually referred to as a side hustle kitchen because we welcome other aspiring cooks and entrepreneurs to use the facility to promote their own food and their own cuisines. As BZB Test Kitchen, we use this facility for a la carte catering, as well as fine dining and takeout meals and prepared meals as well. The range that we have available to us is quite broad, and we can adapt to any type of cuisine as well. So tonight we're doing something a little bit more elevated. We're doing fine dining cuisine, which involves higher end ingredients, and that's just part of the business. We're able to adapt to our clients' specific needs here at Primary Social.
Wow, it sounds like such a dynamic space in there.
It is quite dynamic, and it's a fully licensed, inspected kitchen with a proper walk-in fridge and a full set of stainless steel equipment. So we're blessed to have a great facility back there.
So Sergio's traveled the world. He's learned all about world cuisines, and today he's going to go in there, cook something up and show you how to make something amazing from foods that he gathered at the market this morning. So foods that are grown right here in Windsor and Essex County. So let's go in.
Today, it's a very special occasion. We are getting ready to do a fine dining catering for a couple's anniversary this evening. The market happened to be open today. For me, it's a great opportunity to support all of the local farmers and businesses and get some fantastic produce sourced entirely locally, which obviously helps support the local economy. So we have some fantastic local berries and strawberries from Raymond Farms, and also found some great green beans and peppers from Bouchard Gardens, which we're going to be prepping and blanching for tonight. The berries will be made into a nice compote or a thick sweet sauce for the chocolate ganache tart that we will be serving tonight for the couple. First things first, we're going to start by preparing some of these strawberries. I have saved some for garnishing the actual dessert tonight. But all we need to do now with these strawberries is actually trim the stems, get them out of the way, and just quarter them to get them ready for our compote sauce. And all we're going to do here is quarter them. These are fantastic, firm little berries, full of flavor, very, very aromatic, very fragrant. Take advantage of having a fantastic farmers market downtown here in Windsor to support your local businesses and also get all of these amazing produce available to you. I also have some fantastic blueberries that I want to show you real quick. There's really nothing else to do here. Just give them a good wash like I did and have them ready for your sauce. And we're going to proceed with getting our green beans trimmed up. With the green beans, very straightforward. All I need to do with them is trim the ends or the tip and the stems. So that, again, they're very firm, and you can tell a good quality green bean obviously by its color. There's not a lot of blemishes or spotting, and also they are very, very crisp. You can actually hear that snapping when you break them in half. They're very crunchy. You can actually eat them raw too. We like to taste produce and make sure that everything is as fresh as possible. So if they're very crunchy and slightly sweet, fantastic. What we're gonna do with these guys is only trim the ends, so the stem and a little bit of the tip, and just leave them like that. And to speed up the process, I just like to grab a bundle, maybe 4 or 5 in my hand, and just get them as close together with your paring knife, trim the ends, and then rotate and do the same. It can get very long and tedious when you do a lot of them for prepping. So for camera purposes and time, I'm only gonna do a little bit. I'm definitely gonna give a shout out to the guys at Mushroom Hub. Mushrooms are a fantastic source of different vitamins and minerals as well. These lobster mushrooms do not require much trimming or other than cleaning. Obviously, mushrooms grow in very dark soil and they tend to get very, very dirty. So you need to be careful to make sure that anything that needs to be cleaned out or taken away is done properly. And also trimming is very, very minimal with these guys. All we're gonna do here is with a damp towel, we're gonna give these guys a good scrub. Being gentle, obviously not to break them apart, but try and get in there with the tip of your fingers and scrub out any dirt that they may have. Alternatively, if you have quite a large quantity of mushrooms, by all means, run them under cold water and in your sink and clean up as many as you can if you have an abundant quantity of mushrooms. In my case, I'm gonna do them by hand. And all we're gonna do with these guys is quarter them so they're all as even as possible, because later tonight for dinner, I am going to be sauteing them in a garlic herb butter. So nice and simple. So the more even they are, they can all cook at the same time, which is also important when preparing your vegetables. Make sure that your portioning is as even as possible. And there you go, the majority of the dirt is in your towel. Honing your knife. Now, you've probably seen these a lot on cooking shows, Food Network, chefs showing off. This is actually called a steel, and it serves a purpose to keep your knife sharp for longer. This is not a sharpening tool, this is not a sharpening stone. This basically just realigns your blade, which under a microscope, if your blade has been used a lot, it probably looks like a bunch of shark teeth. They're very dull and kind of like just very jagged and uneven. And what this does, the steel, is basically just realigns your blade so that you can continue cutting for longer. So all we're gonna do here on a bit of a 45-degree angle is realign my blade. And all I do is pass it probably 8 to 10 times on each side. My knife, since I use it every day, I try to maintain it as sharp as possible. And this blade is pretty much ready to go. Very sharp, almost like a razor blade. So all we're gonna do with this mushroom is just cut them in about inch and a half pieces. Just like that. The larger sections here, because they're so much more dense than the smaller pieces, we might have to make a cut like this. And again, just proceed to give them just a bit of a dice. If you find any of the stem bits that you feel with your fingers that is a little tough or barky, you can definitely remove it, set it aside. It usually happens with the bigger mushrooms. As they grow, the stems or the base gets a little tougher. It just requires a small trim. I have some new potatoes blanching earlier, and your potato is done when you insert the tip of your knife and it basically slides out without any effort as you lift it. So if the potato does that, it's completely cooked. But if the potatoes start breaking out and absorbing water, that means your potato has been overcooked, and it's not really something that you want to aim for. So just make sure that your potato is still firm and the flesh hasn't been damaged or broken. This is something that also you can do in advance at home. If you're meal prepping, you can blanch your potatoes ahead of time and just let them cool at room temperature. We are going to blanch our green beans for later tonight. Pot of boiling water once again, abundant amount of salt. And no, this is not going to translate into salty beans. All we're doing here is creating the perfect medium to maintain our green beans nice and green or bright green. So all we're going to do, once your water is boiling, add a bunch of salt, a good tablespoon and a half, and throw your green beans in them. So your handful of green beans are going to go in. So again, 45 seconds to a minute max. Just let them swim in there. Your water doesn't have to be boiling violently. All we want to do here is get them cooked 3/4 of the way there. So you can see they're still very green and firm to the touch. Place them in your ice bath and just let them be there. You don't have to remove them right away. Just let them cool, let them be submerged in your ice bath, and then they'll be ready. Next on the prep list, these lovely peppers from the market are going to be charred. The reason why we're doing that is we want to fire roast them, and then we're going to remove all the skin once they're completely blackened. All you need is just a little bit of olive oil just to get things started. And you can either place them on your grill at home, or you can place them directly on your burner if you have a gas stove. Just straight there and let them char. So for our berries, I'm gonna get about half of these guys, as well as our strawberries, on a pan with about a half a cup of sugar. and just enough water to get them started. As the sugars dissolve and our berries start cooking, they're going to release a lot of liquid as well. So you just want enough water to get them going, to break down the cell walls on your berries, and to basically become a compote or a jam. As you can see, our peppers are starting to blacken or char. You blacken the entire skin to get that nice fire roasted flavor, and also to remove the entire skin of the pepper. As you can see, our berries are already starting to soften and simmer. So we're just gonna increase the heat a little bit. I want a very gentle simmer to happen until they start reducing and becoming a jam. For our potatoes, I am actually going to cold smoke them for about 30 minutes or so. I have this little smoking chamber that I bought at one of our local hardware stores. Nothing fancy really. You can improvise in a variety of ways by using an empty can. Just poke holes in it and then you create your own smoking chamber. I have applewood chips that have been soaking in water for about a half an hour, just to make them easier to handle and obviously to generate a lot of smoke. So we're gonna close one end until it snaps, and we're just gonna fill it up with as much applewood chips as possible. And you can either use a blowtorch or you can place it directly on your stove or grill until it starts smoking. Place the lid on that side, place it directly on your stove, and just let it be until it smokes. Meanwhile, keep an eye on everything else that you're doing in the back. Your berry sauce, look at that already. It's coming together. How quick do we have a compote or a berry sauce happening already? I'm gonna let it reduce slightly. It's still quite a bit of liquid here, so we're just gonna reduce it by obviously evaporating the excess water. Again, reduce your heat so you have more control over it. Keep an eye as well on your peppers here. Rotate them frequently so you have even charring all throughout. We're going to go ahead and prepare the main feature of the day today as well, our beautiful ribeye steaks and our lobster. So once your smoking chamber starts generating smoke like this, turn your heat off and transfer it very carefully to your container with your potatoes and enclose them completely in that smoke. Just with plastic film, seal it, let the smoke permeate inside the potatoes, adding a lot of flavor and character to them. Just let them be at room temperature. I picked up 2 lobster tails for tonight's dinner. These are beautiful 5-ounce tails that are just fantastic for one single portion. And I've also have a AAA 45-day dry age ribeye steak that Brenner's actually does in their facility. First, with our lobster, all we're going to do here is check and trim the lobster fins with a pair of kitchen scissors or shears. All we need to do is, with the tip of your scissors, trim all of the fins out of the way. And then again, with your scissors, we're going to make an incision right through the top of the exoskeleton on your lobster until you reach the very back. And also do the same at the bottom. Then very gently and carefully, we're going to run our fingers through each side on the inside of the shell and bring out your entire lobster meat to make a saddle. So a saddle is nothing more than elevating the inside of the lobster tail out. You see this a lot on commercials and steakhouses and seafood restaurants, and basically make your lobster presentable for a dish, just like that. Next we have our lovely steaks, the start of the show. Olive oil, fresh thyme from my garden, and a couple of garlic cloves. We also need some vacuum bags. You can also use your traditional Ziploc bags at home, nothing fancy. I like to use these vacuum bags just to make sure that I have a proper seal. These steaks are going to be sous vide or cooked underwater and finished on the grill later on tonight. So, garlic. Super easy to clean garlic. Smash it with the side of your knife. And then the majority of the skin should come off fairly easily. I'm gonna need 1 clove per steak, a couple of sprigs of thyme. Place your steak in. Clove of garlic. Notice there's no seasoning at this point. I am only going to season my steak when it's ready to be flash grilled. So all we focus right now is on aromatics. So I have my garlic, my thyme, and I have a good squirt of olive oil. Most commercial kitchens have the big vacuum sealers at home. If you do not own a food saver, you can also submerge this entire bag in a pot of hot water and you will create a natural vacuum as well. But since we have technology, we're going to use it. These bags come with a specialized chamber here to suck up all the air out of them. And for the most part, it's very effective. Just takes a minute. And my steaks are ready for sous vide or vacuum sealing. And your aromatics and your olive oil is in complete contact with your steak as well, which is a bonus of doing this. You can also marinate your steaks this way for later. If you're grilling directly, you can vacuum seal your steaks, keep them refrigerated for a couple of days, and then you'll see a huge difference in flavor by by sealing them and having all the aromatics as tight to close as possible to the steak itself. Thank you for joining me today. That's it for now. I hope you picked up a couple of tricks that we use in the kitchen quite frequently. And as always, please support your local vendors more than ever. They need your support, and we have fantastic farmers, fantastic cooks, restaurants, caterers in the city for your every need. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that dish? What inspired that dish in there?
Part of what we do on a daily basis when dealing with the clients is we do a lot of customization on menus, and this is a complete customized menu. The couple that I'm cooking for tonight, the wife actually approached me with a couple of ideas that she had. She specified that she wanted seafood, she wanted scallops, she wanted lobster, and she wanted to build everything around a surf and turf dinner experience, which is one of her husband's favorite dishes. So that's usually the process that we go through with the client. Instead of just presenting them with a set of menus that we have available, which we also do, we rather take notes and ideas of what they have in mind for their meals.
Wow, well, I'm sure they're going to be so pleased with that meal.
I think they're going to be happy. Maybe a little on the full side, but definitely happy.
Yeah. If you were talking to someone that may have never been to the market before, how would you describe the experience to them? What makes going to a market special?
Well, in this day and age, obviously, when we have all the protocols in place, the market downtown here in Windsor is extremely safe, very well put together. People are very engaging. Obviously, all the farmers are very engaging with customers. I find it to be safe, number one, and number two, quite a good variety of fresh produce. We have to support our local farmers. We have to support all our local businesses, and they're doing such a great job here downtown.
Amazing. All right, so we're gonna wrap things up, and as always, remember to head on down to the market every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Polisher Street at Maiden Lane. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great week and see you at the market. Bye.